through its new vehicle number plate registration scheme. Also, the NPP accuses governing NDC of using high-handedness in handling the matter involving former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. We have those details shortly. And also, independent power generators in Ghana commend government for settling a significant portion of legacy arrears owed to power generation companies, describing the move as a major step towards stabilizing the country's energy sector. One person confirmed dead, with at least 37 others sustaining injuries following a fatal road crash at Mankrong on the Accra-Kumasi Highway in the Suhum municipality of the Eastern Region. And on the international front, thousands around the world expressed solidarity with Iranians who began demonstrations in late December over the collapse of real currency. We have details of these and many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. Stay with us. Many thanks for your company once again. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live on all our social media platforms at GHOne TV. Now, the Vehicle Enforcement Association of Ghana has expressed frustration at the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority over its attempt to dismiss over 300 staff members through its new vehicle number plate registration scheme. Now, in the application for injunction following a suit filed by Bemenko Emborsement Limited and 26 other plaintiffs, all members of the Vehicle Enborsement Association of Ghana are seeking to restrain the DVLA from rolling out a digital or any new vehicle number plate registration system beginning January 2026. Now, the injunction requests that the DVLA be restrained from introducing digitalized vehicle number plates or any new registration plates until the court determines the merits of the case. They're also seeking or asking that the DVLA be prevented from implementing any alternative arrangements for the endorsement and supply of vehicle number plates outside the existing framework involving the plaintiffs. In court today, when the case was called, the court had to adjourn because the substantive writ had not been served on the DVLA. Kojo Bruce Kwanta is the spokesperson for the association, and he expressed his frustration, saying that the exercise would impose undue hardship on its members. He spoke to our legal affairs correspondent, Mutala Inusa.
What we will say is that we'll have the patience and wait for the court, because the DVLA is saying that they did not receive our first rate. So whether it is true or not, we will not dispute it, but we will wait for next Monday when the court will be ready for us. All we are seeking is our jobs. Look at here, we have 3,000 people. And more than 3,000, but let's approximate 3,000. How can we send all these people home? I don't think the president is interested in sending 3,000 people home when he himself is so serious about creating jobs. You see, so as employers, we have taken 3,000 plus people off government payroll. Haven't we done well? We are the biggest contributor to the DVLA's IDG. You see, so they cannot just say 3,000 people should go home. No, we can't accept that. Claim that they want to roll out new number plates, which will be chip embedded for security reasons. But the point is that we embossers, we don't do the chip embossment. What we do is embossing the plate. So if they want to do a chip embedded plate, it is the DVLA and the manufacturers whose responsibility it is. It is not our responsibility.
The DVLA must come out with whatever contract that they gave to that person, and the tenants of for the tenants of the contract to be examined, and so that we would know how to go about the whole thing properly. Because everybody is avoiding us. The contract is in the air. We don't know what the contract is, who holds the contract, and what is contained in the contract. And I think that's what they have to make sure that we know as people who have contributed to this job for over 35 years. More or less like a destiny. Yeah? Now somebody comes up and says he's the Mr. Boot it all out and take any action he wants, rather radically, that these people have to be denied their jobs. Why? I think everybody must ask why. What is his interest? What is cementing? What is the actual roots that he's trying to plant or do that will come against us? Can somebody be so wicked?
Still in the court, the High Court in Accra has directed the Attorney General to file a written report on the detention of Alhaji Seydou Abagui, who is the rival chief who has been arrested by the Ghana Armed Forces on December 24. Let's get more from our court correspondent, Mutala Inusa, to bring us exactly what the court is saying, that they're directing the Attorney General to file a report on Alhaji Bagui's detention in 10 days. Before we engage our legal affairs correspondent, the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Shremsai, earlier spoke to our correspondent and also private legal practitioner Martin Pebu. Let's listen to those.
Yeah, indeed, Alhaji Seydou is in good spirit. I spent a greater part of yesterday's afternoon with him. He's very sharp in his recollection. We had conversation about his lawyer as well. And so I can assure the public and the people of Boku that Alhaji is in good spirits as well. He was with his son when I visited and we had conversation about a number of things which I cannot disclose. About today's proceedings, we chose to, this is a human rights issue as well, so we decided to step in instead of waiting to be formally served, which will prolong the matter, to appear and then cut short all the processes. I think we've made a lot of progress today in court. There is some basic understanding, yet we have some of the issues not, we could not agree on some of the issues, one of which is the lawfulness of the detention. As you may be aware, the detention is pursuant to a court order, so that we believe constitutes the ground. And if the court order is not lawful, as I see my learned friend argues, I think there is a way of dealing with that, and that we do not believe should be habeas corpus application. But then again, the judge has adjourned the case to 26th. We will come and then conclude the matters. But in the meantime, I've just heard counsel's concern about access to his clients. That will be facilitated, and he will have access to his client, and because the client is in touch with his family who have been there. So if counsel is raising that objection, we will definitely.
In principle, I went on record in court to say that I'm not against the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Shremsai, coming into court. No, you see, we use the law to achieve speedy and effective justice. So I don't believe in insisting on rules where such insistence would lead to a delay. No, then in that case, it means that I'm not serving the interests of the client. So they will tell you that the rules are not made to be obeyed slavishly. No, what you look for is how would you use the rules to achieve speedy and effective justice. So in this case, with the AG coming, he was able to give us the time, the date that is convenient for them. Of course, not that everything he proposed was taken. We negotiated, right? So effectively, this has been far better than the court making an order and then you send the order and they are not able to respond within the time. So this is fine. This is fine. And so the ex-parte application was effectively moved. You see, habeas corpus is in 2 stages, where we came alone for an order which the judge may grant or not grant, that okay, based on what you said, one, I will order the Republic to produce the detainee, because we don't know if there's any criminal case. So here he said detainee. And then number two, we'll ask the Republic to file a report to justify the detention. In this case, the judge granted one out of the two. That's the Republic, represented by Deputy Attorney General, should file a report to justify the detention. But when we raise the matter of bringing Alhaji Saidu Abagri on the next date, which is 26th of January, my lady, they opposed it, and my lady said we should wait. It's fine.
Let's get more from our legal affairs correspondent, Mutala Inusa, who joins us via Zoom on this. Mutala, what more can you tell us? We had the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Shremsai, talking about the file or the written statement that the court has asked them to file in 10 days.
Well, Nadima, as you have heard from the parties, the case was called today, and then the business of the day was for the application for habeas corpus to be moved by Martin Kpebu. Now, the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Shremsai, stepped in and said, look, they've heard that particular case and the case is of public interest, and the fact that the AG intends to intervene at this particular point in time just so that the matter is resolved amicably. It is a matter that has to do with human rights, and so it is something that is of concern to the state and particularly the Attorney General, and that is why the Deputy Attorney General thinks that it is right to enter into the matter despite the fact that they have not been put on notice. And one of the things that they put before the court was to the effect that they want to collaborate with the applicant, lawyer Martin Kpebu. In fact, they had at the point engaged. Now, they came back and the response was that they were unable to settle that particular point for them. At this point, Deputy Attorney General offered that when given the opportunity within 10 days, they will be able to file their response or file a report on reason why Alhaji Saidu Abagri is being held in law.
We seem to have lost our correspondent there. We'll try and reconnect with him. But in the meantime, government has cleared a significant portion of Ghana's long-standing energy sector debt by paying about $1.47 billion to stabilize the power sector. According to the Finance Ministry, the debt clearance has restored the World Bank guarantee, settled arrears owed to gas suppliers, that is ENI and Vitol, and improved payment performance across the power value chain. The payments are said to have improved financial stability across the power sector and also reduce operational risk and strengthen confidence among energy sector investors. Now, authorities say that systems have been put in place to ensure timely payments going forward and prevent a return to energy sector debt accumulation. Meanwhile, the independent power generators in Ghana have confirmed receipt of payments covering a significant portion of long-standing arrears owed to power generation companies in the energy sector. In a statement that was released earlier, the independent power generators say that the payments made in 2025 relate to legacy debts that have constrained operations, and investments across the power sector for several years. According to the group, the settlement of the arrears has improved financial stability within the sector and strengthened operational confidence among power producers. The group adds that the payments signal renewed commitment to contractual discipline and better sector governance, positioning the energy sector to attract new capital, technology, and long-term partnerships. Let's bring you some developments. So what does this mean for the ordinary Ghanaian? Kojo Poku is an energy analyst and joins us via phone. Kojo, many thanks for joining us. Now, government has confirmed that they've indeed paid some $1.47 billion to stabilize the power sector. What will be the impact on the ordinary Ghanaian?
Well, I don't think there's an impact on the ordinary Ghanaians because Ghanaians are the ones paying for these monies that is being accrued by the Ministry of Finance. You remember sometime earlier last year, there was a certificate of emergency that the government took to Parliament to put an extra 1 cedi on a litre of fuel. So the impact in our pocket is that money is being taken from us. But the good thing is that at least the Ministry of Finance is continuing their culture of information. It's good when we are informed as a nation that money taken from us is being used and somebody is telling us what the money is being used for. So I think if you want to look at an impact to me and you, look, the sector, if it works well, is good for all of us. But the payment to the industry players is not new. It's something that the NDC government is continuing. So I think at least that statement should have made reference that there has been a culture of payment year on year to the industry players, and that is what they are also doing. I don't know if you are aware that in 2024, there was a similar 1.46 billion paid to the same players within the sector. And if the following year, another 1.4 has been paid, it means that they are continuing the culture of trying to clear the legacy debt in the sector.
But Kojo, you indeed, rightly so, money is being taken from the everyday, or all of us, to pay this debt. But are you saying that it will do nothing to stabilize the current power issues in the country?
Oh, not at all. Payment to these companies are good because the companies need liquidity, right? When you are owed and somebody is paying, it's a good thing. The point I wanted to make is that the statement from the Honorable Finance Minister made it look like this is a eureka moment. Oh, wow, let's all applaud. This thing has never happened before. But that impression is not true. Because even in his own advising budget, page 19 of the budget, lists all the companies that they paid, Amandi, Power, AXA, Cynic, Power. The same companies he is paying, they were paid $395 million in 2024, right? All the companies he talks about, Palo, West African Gas Pipeline, Sankofa Gas, all these people were paid another $775 million in 2024. The total payment in his own budget, page 19, says that $1.46 billion were paid to the sector players. So the point I'm making is that we should always inform the public, right? Let's not bring politics into some of these things because somebody sitting somewhere who is NDC will say that, look, NDC government is in. They are making a payment to the sector when the sector was collapsing. Forgetting the year before, the MPP government has made similar payments. So it's nothing new. It is just a culture of payment to clear the legacy debt to sustain the sector, right? That is what has been going on for years, and they are continuing that.
But, Kojo, in the statement that was released by the independent power generators, they did actually commend government. And I understand the point where you are coming from, but then they're saying that their payments of these long-standing obligations, for them, it signals that government has shown a lot of commitment in stabilizing the power in the country. And so for them, that was not the case or the posturing they had in the previous government.
Well, unless you are telling me that the finance ministry lied in their 2025 budget, right? Star Power received Amandi received $72 million in 2024. Stem Power received $140 million in 2024. AXA received $51 million to $50.8 million, right. And the list goes on and on. The next Star Power got $70 million. Unless you are telling me that the budget is lying. Similar payments have been made to them the year before. If somebody issue a statement that, oh, I appreciate the money being given to me this year, there's nothing wrong with that. The point I want us to appreciate is that those same companies have been stifled of payment ever. And it's not like everybody, all of a sudden, somebody came in and is doing something that has never been done. That's what I want everybody to understand. One thing that is in contrast, and let me put a bit of my political hat on now. You see, you have one government that believes that I don't want to burden Ghanaians and I'll do what I can within my budget and save the energy sector. You have another government that thinks otherwise, that wants to now come and say, okay, look, I'm going to collect $1 extra from Ghanaians on a litre of fuel and use that to pay for the sector indebtedness. Everybody is doing their part, and Ghanaians are paying. So we are the one everybody should basically thank us for. We are the ones who are doing the sacrifice. Nobody is doing any innovation. Everybody is just basically saying, look, we need to pay this debt. Let Ghanaians pay for it. And we are paying 1 cedi extra on a liter of fuel to pay for this debt. But it's not a novelty. It has happened the year before, reported in the 2025 budget that says that 1.46 billion was paid to the energy sector players, as is being done this year, another 1.47 being paid. Gradually, we will eliminate the legacy debt in the energy sector.
The fact that this money is from every Ghanaian, what benchmark should Ghanaians look out for to ensure, or within the next 12 or coming months, to ensure that for them to be able to judge that the energy sector reset that the government talks about is truly working?
Well, what Ghanaians want is reliability. Right? We want to make sure that when we pay these monies, our lights are on. So we want reliability, and then we want quality service and quality supply. So the fact that the power is on, if I have low current, it is not good to me, right? So I want quality of service. When my meter is not working, I want the ECG or the utility company to be able to come and attend to me. So yes, we are happy to pay a little extra, though we don't have. But what we expect in return is good service, stable electric power, and then also the quality of service that we need.
Right. I'm grateful that you could join us here on Newsroom. That was Kojo Poku, who is an energy analyst. But away from that, the Embassy of Ghana in Washington, D.C. have confirmed that former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has been taken into custody by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, that is ICE. In a press release dated December 10, 2026, and signed by Ghana's ambassador to the U.S., Victor Emmanuel Smith, the embassy said that it received information about Ofori-Atta's detention and verified the circumstances surrounding the matter. Now, following that confirmation, the embassy formally contacted the detention facility to request consular. Ofori-Atta declined to meet with consular officials at that time, insisting that his lawyers be present. Now, the embassy did not provide details on the reasons for his detention or indicate how long he's expected to remain in ICE custody, but said that it remains in contact with the appropriate United States authorities and will continue to follow the matter closely to ensure that Mr. Ofori-Atta's rights are fully respected. Reacting to this development, Professor of the University of Ghana School of Law, Professor Kojo Appiah said that the former finance minister's decision might be a result of mistrust on his part.
The Attorney General, both the attorney and the deputy, came out to say that the government has been involved in causing the revocation of the visa. There are still some unanswered issues around those statements made, but certainly it will trigger a situation where Mr. Ofori-Atta may want to reserve from accepting the consular services. It is not obligatory to accept that. And here, Mr. Ofori-Atta will likely not decline that because of the revelation coming out that the Ghanaian government has been involved in the revocation of his visa. So I think that is one of the factors. But it could be other factors, such as some of the challenges that it has had with the Ghanaian government, and then the fact that it has been insisting on bringing the person to Ghana. And now efforts are being done by the U.S. immigration authorities to bring him to Ghana. Now you say you want to help. It seems contradictory. That is why that may underline the reason to reject such support.
Well, Minister of Finance, Dr. Kaseo Atufor has been ranked the best performing minister in President John Dramani Mahama's administration for the year
You come to the deputy ministerial list. So
Right.
John Domelo made the list.
Okay.
Dr. Afotofi made the list as well. Transport, the deputy transport minister. You talk about Dr. Clementa Park, deputy education minister as well, made the list among other members of this government. That's for the deputy ministerial portfolio.
Some CEOs are in there. But before we come to the CEOs, right, I think when this list was released on social media, a lot of the questions that I saw the Ghanaians were asking was, what was the yardstick? How did they determine who was? Is it those who we hear from all the time? Some people are always on social media. They're available for interviews. Is that what made them make this list?
Let me just tell you what facts investigative services are telling us. They collected responses from 6,247 people nationwide, and participants included traders, drivers, students, professionals, and civil society members. And this year's survey is is the 13th edition of FACTS Public Performance Assessment, and regions grouped into 3 zones for comparative analysis. So Zone A was Greater Accra, OT, Volta, Eastern, and Central. Zone B was Northern Region, Northeast, Savannah, Upper East, and Upper West regions. And Zone C was Ashanti, Bono East, Ahafo, Western, and Western North region. And these responses were collected from October to November of last month, we're told, right? And so, and questions were asked as to who your best performing minister is, who your best performing deputy minister is, who your best performing CEO is, who your best performing regional minister is. So here they don't talk about the worst performing ministers, right? The focus of the survey is for you to tell them who your best performing appointee is. I, being a parliamentary correspondent, I think sometime in 2020, I received questions from the same group, this same organization, FACTS Investigative Services. And the question they asked me was a direct one. As a parliamentary correspondent, name 5 of your best performing members of parliament. And so I'm assuming that these are the same questions that were asked of these respondents, over 6,000 of them. Right. Yes. So there are many questions that have been asked about. So, for instance, the sports minister, Kofi Adams, why is he not on this list? Right. If you talk about best performing CEO, the president has just tapped the Ghana Publishing CEO on the back for the turnaround that he's brought to the establishment.
I think that he's done well. He's done amazingly well. Yeah.
Those questions have been asked, but then again, the report will tell you that the surveyors will tell you that they asked questions and answers were provided. And based on the answers provided, they compiled this list. So, as for Finance Minister, what's the name? Dr. Kesela, there are no arguments, to be honest. Even on social media, nobody's raising questions about he being the most performing minister.
And I think the roads minister as well, Agboja.
Exactly, Kwame Agboja, who is leading the big push agenda. All right. In fact, Sam George, the year under review, which is 2025. If you talk about data packages improved, and I'm talking about mobile telecommunication data, you talk about the DSTV, regardless of the brouhaha, there are many who say that was to the positive. And
I mean, before you got here, he got a lot of heat before here,
most definitely. So basically, that's it with the ministers. When we come to the CEO, the best CEO is Sami Jemfi Gold Board, right? And then
any surprises there?
Not entirely. So there are a number of them who are actually competing. So, like I mentioned, the Ghana Publishing CEO, for instance, that he should have also been on this list. There is Tor, the Tor CEO, Edmond Combat. He's been able to turn around Tor, and they are now refining crude. Absolutely. Yes, he features there as well. Afeji, and that's the boss CEO, equally features as well. Nikwe, Julius Nikwe, Abi, that's the DVLA CEO. In fact, there are many who rate the DVLA CEO ahead of everybody.
Including Sami Jemfi.
Yes, given the transformation he's brought at DVLA.
I think they started the 24-hour
economy. The policy rollout, yes.
Last year.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, as for the debate is out there as to whether people agree with this list or they disagree with this particular list.
Right.
Yes.
I'm grateful that you could join us. That was that is our parliamentary affairs correspondent, Ibrahim Malas. And you out there can also tell us what you think about the list on our social media handles at GHOne TV. Still watching Newsroom live on GHOne TV.
na Rose Gold had in a money. Sisi a minu ujina ni mo no mento ade amra no wura.
You're welcome back to Newsroom Live on GHOne TV. I am Nadima, Umar, Uthman. In some more stories, one person has been confirmed dead with at least 37 others sustaining injuries following a fatal road crash at Mankron on the Accra-Kumasi Highway in the Suhum municipality of the Eastern Region. Now, the incident occurred on Sunday, January 11, 2026, involving a 40-seater tongue bus with registration number AS702221 and a MAN diesel truck registered GW3969U. Now, both vehicles were reportedly in motion at the time of the collision. According to the Ghana National Fire Service, the Suhum Municipal Fire Station received a distress call at 6:59 a.m. and promptly dispatched a rescue team led by Assistant Divisional Officer Bernard Boama. Preliminary information indicates that one person died at the scene, while 37 others, made up of 21 males and 16 females, sustained varying degrees of injury. Occupants of the truck escaped unhurt. Some of the injured had already been transported to the Suhum Government Hospital before fire officers arrived at the scene. Now, in a Facebook post, the Ghana National Fire Service said its personnel worked meticulously to extricate the deceased from the wreckage, assist the injured, and secure the accident scene. The team also cleared debris from the highway, restored traffic flow, and ensured the safety of other road users. An initial assessment revealed extensive damage to the front section of the bus, while the rear of the truck sustained only minor damage. Eyewitnesses' accounts suggest that the bus was traveling at high speed before crashing into the truck. Investigations, are ongoing to establish the exact cause of the accident. From that, lecturer and international relations expert Dr. Ishmael Lovo has evaluated President John Dramani Mahama's foreign policy. After 1 year in office, giving it a score of 7 out of 10. 1 year in office, giving it a score of 7 out of 10. In his analysis, notable achievements including strengthening humanitarian diplomacy, regional mediation efforts, and assertive advocacy for Africa's interests are visible for all to see. He also noted that persistent challenges such as coordinating regional policy, maintaining a stance of non-alignment, and integrating domestic development goals with international engagement. Despite these hurdles, Dr. Lovo emphasized that the trajectory of Ghana's foreign policy under President John Dramani Mahama is pragmatic and forward-looking, balancing ideology, national interest, and global realities. Let's stay a while longer on this. Dr. Ishmael Lovo joins us via Zoom. Doc, many thanks for joining us. You scored President John Dramani Mahama's administration 7 out of 10. Isn't that too overly scored?
Yeah, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your viewers. I don't think that is an overly high score. Given what the administration has done within the 1 year period. Of course, there are challenges. When you look at what Ghana has been able to do, asserting itself as a leader within the sub-region, becoming a mediator state between the Sahel state and ECOWAS, and of course, leading global initiatives such as the African Health Sovereignty Initiative, such as the call for reparation for Africa. Ghana has positioned itself as a major voice for the global south, for that matter, Africa. And so I believe that taking all those things together, it has been a very productive for Ghana's foreign policy. We have looked at the reforms within Ghana's diplomatic service, where diplomats now have a clear KPI to adhere to. Those are initiatives that are welcoming. They position Ghana very well within the sub-region, within the global space, and of course, in terms of diplomatic efficiency, I think that a lot of reforms have gone in, and it should be fair for us to say that, well, so far so good, they have done a good job in resetting, if that's the word we want to use. That is not to say that the previous administration didn't do well, but I think that in an assessment within the view of what has happened, within the context within which they emerge as winners of the last election, and the challenges that the country faced on the foreign policy front, and their ability to, if you want to use their word, reset Ghana's foreign policy in a very pragmatic, to assume more of a leadership role without necessarily having the material people that leaders have in the international system. So it's positive. I don't think it's an overscore. But
Dr. Lovo, as an international relations expert, what advice would you give the administration such that it can better this score? Because everybody would like for us to see more being done in the foreign space.
So what should be happening is that I think that in irrespective of what they have done, there should be more of the backdoor diplomatic channel, the often aggressiveness in terms of confronting other nations must come down a little bit, where some of the issues that normally should be resolved through back channel diplomacy, we should use back channel diplomacy the more, instead of the always aggressive posturing that characterized the first year in office. And of course, playing the mediator role, playing the non-aligned, carry a lot of risk. That is the risk of credibility. As tension become high, sometimes your loyalty may be questioned by major partners. Right. So we must guard against situations that will put us in a way that people begin to doubt our loyalty, particularly between the ECOWAS states and the Sahel states. We must be more. We must maintain a lot of pragmatism so that our loyalty towards ECOWAS collective efforts will not be questioned. Because as you assume the mediator, sometimes then you look like you are not supporting ECOWAS enough. So yes, in as much as we are playing that game, the tendency for partners to be viewed as unreliable is there. So we must guard against situations that will put us in a way that look like we are not a reliable partner for either of them.
But looking forward, and of course, what is happening in the space now, and also within the region, and also what's happening in the United States, for instance, what would you say will be the biggest test for President John Dramani Mahama moving forward in terms of his foreign policy strategy?
So the biggest test will come, particularly if any of the Sahel states is destabilized further. That is to say that if there should be another coup, which may have the alleged involvement of another ECOWAS nation, it will complicate our ability to mediate. Because then, when an ECOWAS member is accused of fomenting trouble in another ECOWAS country, how to respond will become difficult. The other test will be that as the United States become more unilateral, and Ghana is a very important partner to the United States in West Africa,
right?
And intrude into the African space, then Ghana have to take a position either in favor or against the United States. Those may be the challenges that may come along the way. So maybe they will be hedging against the fact that the United States should remain outside the West African region, may not take a very assertive posture, particularly concerning certain West African states. So once the United States begin to intrude into West Africa in terms of maybe some of their unilateral action, the relation between Ghana and the United States may be put to the test. Then our response will have to be, and of course, given the posturing of our foreign minister and President Mahama himself, I'm sure they will want to take the position of their African brothers. And that's why the test will come for Ghana-US relations.
Right. I'm grateful that you could join us here on Newsroom. That was Dr. Ishmael Hlovo, who is an international relations expert. In some more stories, the Inspector General of Police, Christian GHOne, has outlined sweeping reforms aimed at strengthening professionalism, welfare, and modern policing within the Ghana Police Service. Delivering his address at the WASA 2025 celebration, the IGP said that his leadership has prioritized integrity, discipline, community policing, and transformational reforms in line with the mandates given to him by President John Dramani Mahama some days ago. I beg your pardon.
The WASA celebration at the National Police Headquarters in Accra was last held several years ago, and its recent revival marks the first time in a long while that members and staff of the headquarters have gathered for the traditional end-of-year celebration. Inspector General of Police, Christian GHOne, announced improvements made in officer welfare.
We have made improvements in medical support, including specialized and overseas treatment, mental health support, improved accommodation, and fair promotion systems, and promoted a people-centered, service-driven policing culture in line with democratic best practice.
The IGP also revealed that a high-level working visit to the New York Police Department, NYPD, and the FBI has resulted in an exchange program focused on technology-driven policing and advanced operational systems.
To share expertise and adopt advanced systems that elevate our policing operations.
He also further praised government support in closing logistical gaps, citing the provision of armored vehicles and patrol boats to enhance land and maritime security, improve officer safety, and reinforce public confidence.
We remain deeply grateful for your continued support, particularly in addressing critical logistical and resource gaps.
IGP GHOne reaffirmed the service's commitment to professionalism, public trust, and democratic policing, assuring of better days ahead for national security and law enforcement in Ghana.
Let's bring you some news from the business world.
The Business Brief is brought to you by Ghana, passion for technology.
Now, Executive Secretary of Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki Wingobet, has hailed government for putting measures in place to strengthen the local Ghana cedi. This, according to the Executive Secretary, has brought some relief to players in the trade industry, thereby restoring some confidence in the local currency market. He spoke at a New Year get-together for selected journalists on port operations and its impact on businesses in Ghana. We'll bring you that story in our subsequent bulletin. But board chairman of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Samuel Ofusu-Ampofo, says although the appreciation of the cedi is good for Ghana's economy, the turnaround is biting hard on export earnings of the product to the international markets. Speaking in an interview with GHOne News, Dr. Ampofo noted that the situation has reduced the cedi value of proceeds needed to pay farmers, service loans, and sustain operations across the cocoa value chain. He also pointed at 5.8 billion cedis allocation for the supply of agrochemicals and other inputs to cocoa farmers to boost production, while appealing to the farmers to largely rally behind the government to transform the sector.
The rising cedi has its own ramification on the activities of Cocoa Board because we sell our cocoa beans in dollars. We come and convert it into cedis, and we use that cedis to pay for workers, pay for suppliers, buy insecticide, buy agrochemicals, fertilizers, and all those things. Thankfully enough, His Excellency President Mahama directed us that we should supply the agrochemicals, fertilizers, and others free of charge to the farmers. For this year, about 5.8 billion is what is being invested to purchase agrochemicals and others to supply free of charge for farmers.
So the appreciation of the cedi is not helping? So
the appreciation of the cedi indeed is biting us as Cocoa Board, because when you go and sell your assuming we, like last year, December, the dollar was around 16, 17. So if you sell cocoa at, let's say, $2,100, and you multiply it by 17, you get more cedis. So you are able to use those more cedis to pay for all the other expenses that Cocoa Board incurs in terms of our research work, in terms of our payment of our workers, in terms of amortization of our loans, and so on and so forth. Today, if you sell the same quantity and then you get your dollars, you are multiplying it by 10.5, 11 instead of 17. So right from the word go, you see that the rising cedi, even though it's good for the economy, for an export-oriented business like Cocoa Board, it has its own ramification on that.
That's it for business, but stay with us. We have some sports updates when we return from this break.
The Business Brief was brought to you by Ghana, passion for technology.
You're welcome back to Newsroom. I am Nadima Umar Uthman. It's time now for sports with Benjamin Yamwa. Hello, Ben.
Hello to you, Nadima. And of course, I've got news coming through with some Ghana Premier League action. Barcelona again are Supercopa champions in Spain. And all is set for the AFCON semi-finals with 4 of Africa's biggest sides getting ready for the grand semi-final of the ongoing Nations Cup in Morocco. Let's begin, first of all, though, with the Ghana Premier League, where we had the weekend matches. And results, interesting results recorded in the Ghana Premier League for this particular match. Let me run by you the results of the games that were played over the weekend in Ghana with the Ghana Premier League. And there you have it now on our screens behind me. And there it is. Kodakot drawing at home with Brekum Chelsea. Adriana Sasso winning 2-1 against Karela. It was Mediama who won 3-0 against Young Apostles. Bechem also won 1-0 against Bebiani Gold Stars, who are defending champions. We had Bechem also winning, well, as like I said, and Dreams won 3-0 against Lions. All Blacks drew 1-1 with Nations FC. Samatex also drew with Vision FC over the weekend. Hearts of Folk won 1-0 against Hoko United on Saturday in the Ghana Premier League. Let's go on to the table as it stands now. Don't forget, things are now heating up. 18 rounds of games done in the GPL. Mediama are on top, 37 points. They are 5 points ahead of Adriana Stars, who are second on 32. Gold Stars, fourth. Hearts of Folk, same points as Kotokodo on 5th position. To the very last emblems where you have Brekum Chelsea on 16th, Hoho on 17th, and of course the Chima 11 Wonders are the last place team on the table in the Ghana Premier League. Let's go to Africa. What semi-final features for the Cup of Nations have been confirmed following the conclusion of the quarterfinals match. Nigeria and host Morocco together Senegal emerged as the last 4 teams after a series of intense quarterfinal battles that ended on Saturday night. Host Morocco will take on Senegal, will face Egypt in a 2 semi-final matches scheduled for this Wednesday. 7-time champions Egypt sealed their final semi-final ticket after defeating champions Cote d'Ivoire 3-2 in a thrilling encounter in the quarterfinals, while Senegal earlier booked their spot with a half-fought 1-0 win over Mali in a tense West African derby. Host Morocco continued their fine form with a composed 2-0 victory over Cameroon in Rabat, with Nigeria completing the semi-final quartet after they defeated Algeria 2-0 in Marrakesh to progress. Semi-finals will be played on Wednesday, with the final scheduled for this Sunday, all in Rabat. From Morocco, let's now go to Saudi Arabia, where we had a Supercopa final play between Barcelona and Real Madrid in a 5-goal thriller to back-to-back Super Cup finals in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. And it marked a 16th triumph in the tournament for Hansi Flick's side, with Barca also who beaten Los Blancos in last year's final. Now, Brazilian forward Rafinha's fluted shot in the 73rd minute proved to be the winner after a frantic ending to the first half. 3 quick-fire goals in the first half of the time to put that 2 teams level at the break. Rafinha had opened the scoring, drilling into the bottom corner in the first half before 3 goals were scored. Lewandowski and, of course, Vinicius Jr. Getting the goals there to ensure Real were back in the game. But, of course, Barca went on to win the game. 3-2 win now ensures that Barca have won the Clásico finals 3 times, 2 in the Supercopa and 1 in the Copa del Rey. And that's it for us in sports. Up next is GHOne.
Ghanaian Afropop star Wendy Shea put Ghana firmly in the continental spotlight at the 9th All Africa Music Awards, AFRIMA, that was held at the Echo Hotel in Lagos on Sunday, January 11, 2026, with a ranked among the night's highlights. When GHOne emerged victorious in the Best Female Artist in West Africa category, a notable milestone on Africa's biggest music stage. She beat stiff competition from across the sub-region, clinching the award with her hit single, Too Late. Before receiving the accolade, the singer thrilled the audience with a high-energy performance of Too Late, sharing the stage with her young protege, Tracy Shea. The performance drew widespread praise, with Tracy's now viral dance routines adding on extra spark to the show. The ceremony, which honors excellence in African music and culture, featured winners from across the continent. Although Nigerian heavyweights, including Rema, Burna Boy, and Yemi Alade, dominated several headline categories, when GHOne's win stood out as a strong statement of Ghana's growing influence on the African music scene. Let's bring you some international news now. People around the world have been expressing solidarity with Iranians. Demonstrations in late December over the collapse of a real currency. From Berlin to Istanbul and Washington, thousands took to the streets over the weekend to show support for the Iranian people. In Paris, many waved flags of the former Iranian monarchy as the crowd made its way towards French capital's famous Trocadero landmark. In London, demonstrators gathered outside the Iranian embassy. In the Vatican, Pope called for dialogue and peace during his weekly prayer on Sunday. Over the past 2 weeks, Iran's nationwide protests have grown from discontent over the country's failing economy to a wider anti-government movement. And that's how we wrap up this edition of Newsroom live on GHOne TV. I am Nadima Umar Uthman. I've been doing this with
Benjamin Yamoa.
Good afternoon.